Well, the crypto market has been in quite a weird spot over the last couple of days, with most cryptos either slowly bleeding downwards or others just staying rather flat. Now, as a result of this honestly boring market, especially considering, what we saw on Friday, a lot of investors are kind of just stuck in the mud right now and not sure what they should do. I mean, is it time to buy? Is it time to sell? Is it time to long? Is it time to short? Should I be all in? Should I be all out? There's a lot of anxiety in the market because people just don't know what to do. And so as a result of noticing this, I was like, you know what? I want to make a video today just going over what I genuinely believe the best thing to do in crypto is right now for like 99% of crypto investors. And so without further ado, let's go over exactly what I think the best thing to do is right now and exactly what I personally am doing right now because they are very similar. So what we can see is yes, the crypto market's been rather weird for the last 7 days, right? We saw the huge sell-off last Friday. We saw a little bit of recovery from Bitcoin and our top altcoins, but since then, many of them have just gone flat. You look at the overall total 7-day performance, and the majority of this red came from Friday. We've not really seen much happening in the crypto market over the last 4 or 5 days. Now, if we look specifically at Bitcoin, what we're doing is we're looking at the Bitcoin 1 day chart, which means every candle represents 1 day. What we can see is, again, it's just rather, we saw this huge sell off on Friday. Prices recovered a little bit and just slowly bled down, kind of just in the same spot that we've been. Now, in a moment like this, what I will say, the very first thing that I want to say is that you have to be incredibly careful. I genuinely believe one of the scariest points in time in the crypto market is that quiet phase right after a big move. So, like, say the crypto market heavy pumps to the upside, then it goes flat, or it heavy dumps to the bottom side and then it goes flat. You have to be incredibly careful because oftentimes these are emotional traps, in my opinion. And what will happen is that these market manipulators, they'll force the market up or down and then they'll flatten it out a little bit. And what they're doing is they're looking to see how are you going to respond to this. So, for example, let's say, for example, they drop the market to the downside, right? And then things go flat for a couple of days and they just sit back and watch. What are people going to do? And if everybody says, oh, that was just a pullback, that was just a dead cat, whatever, and everyone starts going big again, so they start betting huge leverage long trades, meaning that they bet that the market's going to go up. Well, guess what? Guess what's going to happen next? Those market manipulators are going to be like, all right, do it again. And then we drop it again. And then they let it go flat. And then they sit back and wait. And let's say the second time that this happens, let's draw this out actually. So the second time, look, yeah, I want to draw this out for you real quick. So let's say, for example, everyone's betting the market's going to go up. The market manipulators drop the market. Then it goes flat. And then while it's going flat, everybody's still confident that the market's going to recover back to the top side. So they start betting again that the market's going to go up. Then those market manipulators drop it to the downside again. And then it goes flat. And then after this moment, let's say that everybody's like, oh, the bear market's here. I mean, the bull market's over. Everyone starts betting that the market's going to go down. Well, guess what? That's when the market's going to pump back to the upside because the goal here is to move against the grain. They want to move this market against what the general retail public thinks is going to happen in order to liquidate as many people as possible and force as much pain on the market as possible. It's just what happens. And you see it over and over and over again. And so knowing that we're in a period just like this right now, where the market nuked to the downside and now we're kind of getting quiet, you got to be careful because they're studying this market closely. They're watching this thing with their eyes peeled. They lick them clean, right? They're watching it with their eyes peeled and they want to see what the next move is for them in order to really be able to benefit from this market as best as possible. And so in a moment like this, what I always tell people to do, the best thing that you can do in a moment where we're going flat after a big move is to zoom out. You have to zoom out because if you get too stuck staring at the short term, you are going to get trapped by these market manipulators like 90% of the time. And so the best thing to do based on that, right, is for us to go in and zoom out. And so rather than trying to kind of play this game, right, where I go into the 1 hour charts and I'm looking at Bitcoin's price and I'm thinking, okay, well, we clearly have this descending structure right here. And then maybe Bitcoin's trying to build some support right here, then use that support to break towards the upside. And then maybe gets rejected, break out. So I'm going to open up a leverage long trade with a stop loss. No. That's dangerous. That it is not the time to do that. Trust me. Okay. The best thing to do is to go to your daily candles, zoom out, and look at this from more of a macro perspective because it'll give you a much clearer picture of how you can play this game without getting in the weeds. Because what they want you to do, what these market manipulators want you to do, is they want you to get in the weeds with them here because they know they're snakes and they'll get you, right? Where we need to stand above it and look down on it. And so the way that I'm looking at this is by saying, you know what, I'm not worried about what's happening right here. I'm not worried about what's happening right here. I'm looking at what's happening right here. Because as long as I can stay zoomed out, I'm not being impacted by these manipulative moves. If I stay zoomed out, I wasn't impacted that much by this, or by this, or by this, or whatever comes next from here. I can keep it more, of course, fundamental. And so when I'm looking at the market right now the picture becomes much more clear to me. We have a clear zone of resistance, resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3. We have a clear zone of support, support zone 1, support zone 2, support zone 3. And these three support zones were built on top of this previous point of resistance, this previous point of resistance, and this previous point of resistance, meaning that we have a massive zone of resistance above us, boom. We have a massive zone of support below us, boom. Okay, that's great. So we have a range, and we have a very obvious range, a very clear range. There is no debating that this is the range. And so knowing that Bitcoin's price is in a range between a massive zone of resistance and a massive zone of support, the answer to what you should do right now becomes very simple. You have two options. One of those options is risky. The other option is not very risky at all. Now, the more risky option that you can do right now is to range trade this range. And all that simply means is you just go in, you're betting big, or not big, sorry, you're betting long that the market's going to go up. So you're going to open up a leverage trade basically, or a spot bag, I suppose, and bet that the market's going to go back to the upside. And if/when it does, you're going to bet that the market's going to, of course, fall off of this. So you're going to close down that leverage long trade or close down your spot trade and possibly even open up a short trade betting the market's going to go back down. So buy at the top, buy at the bottom, short at the top. Buy at the bottom, short at the top, taking profits every time. Now, I personally don't think that's a good idea right now. You can do it if you want to. I just don't think it's a good idea right now. Why? Because remember what I told you in the beginning. This is a heavy manipulated moment. This is a high manipulation zone, an HMZ. And so knowing that we're in an HMZ, you have to understand that there is severe risk right now. And that even though we're in a range right now, at any given point, we could just whoop, whoop, right back. I mean, immediately, boom, boom. All in your face, just like that. Next thing you know, you got liquidated, and then it goes back to the upside. It happens all the time, right? And so trading in a range in a high manipulation zone is a very, very dangerous game to play, and I don't think it's a good idea. Whereas I honestly think the best thing to do right now, truthfully, if you really don't want to be impacted by this move, by what's about to happen next, is to do nothing until we break out of this range. It is almost always the best option if you're a crypto investor while we're in a range to simply do nothing. Because the question that we're trying to answer right now is whether or not this is accumulation or distribution. Is this an instance, and if you don't know what that means, basically, is this an instance to where people made a bunch of gains and now they're distributing those gains to top buyers before the market dumps? Or did the market pump? This is an opportunity to shake out some of the weaker hands here in the crypto market. The wells are accumulating and then it breaks to the upside. We don't know if this is accumulation or distribution. And so knowing that that is the decision that's being made, that is a very, very big and impactful decision that's going to be made. We start dumping to the bottom side here, guys, back below $100,000. That starts getting risky, like bull market over type beat. And I'm not saying that it is, because truth be told, as long as we're above $74,000, in my opinion, the bull market rages on. But it gets much more dangerous if we break to the downside here, right? We lose the trend, we break to the downside. But if we break to the upside, we're in a great spot where we really could run to $135,000 to $150,000. It's well within the realm of possibility. And so knowing that there is such an impactful decision that's about to be made, whether we break to the upside or break to the downside, it is generally just the best thing to do to not do anything and just to let that happen. Because before the clear break to the downside or before the clear break to the upside happens, there's going to be more manipulation, there's going to be more volatility, and there's going to be more people getting wrecked. And I don't want that to be you. Because why? I mean, why, right? We know the manipulation's coming. Why be a part of it? I mean, go look at the liquidation map. So look at what we're seeing right here on the 30-day. For example, there's in this little period, this little quiet period where people are starting to get impatient, there's now already $6.5 billion worth of liquidations built up to the downside. Look at this huge leverage right here, right at, what is that, $108,000. Huge leverage down there. But in the same breath, there's over $15 billion in leverage to the upside. So guess what? These market manipulators, they want to liquidate both sides of this. They want all of this for themselves. And so it wouldn't shock me at all for there to be some sort of crazy moves that still continue to liquidate people on both sides. And I don't want that to be you. So the best move to make right now, with my opinion, is nothing. No move. Let it play out. Let's just see what side of this range that we break out of first, and then we can go from there, because we'll have a much clearer image of where the market is going, what the outlook of the market is, and then we can, of course, determine the direction in which we believe it's going from more of a macro perspective, and then align our strategies to capitalize on it. That's the best way to play this, in my opinion, okay? And so I know it's not what you wanted me to, I know it's not what you wanted me to say. I know you wanted me to say buy or sell or whatever, but I'm not here to confirm your bias. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear, and what you need to hear is that this is danger. We are in danger. This market is in danger. And if you are opening up big leverage trades without stop losses, without, isolated margin especially, you are at risk at any given point of the market, either nuking upwards or nuking downwards, because either one of these moves liquidates a ton of people. And I don't want that to be you, okay? So I'll keep you updated as this all plays out, but that is the best thing to be doing right now. And that's exactly what I'm doing. One thing you'll notice is I was doing some buying on Bitcoin. Whenever Bitcoin's price, Ethereum's price, XRP's price was was falling about how many days ago was that? 6 days ago. But guess what? Since then, I've gone quiet. Look in the Discord server. I'm not doing a lot of buying right now. I'm not making moves. The biggest thing I did is I put $5,000 into my stock market position a couple days ago just because we dipped under $600 for VOO. That's all I'm doing. I haven't done anything else really since then because I practice what I preach, I walk what I talk, and I talk what I walk. And in this moment, this is danger. And so the best thing to do is either small stuff, maybe small buys on the bottom side, small take profits on the top side, but I really wouldn't be doing anything big unless you have a lot of conviction, which I don't have right now, okay? And so I'll keep you updated as it plays out. A couple things that you can do in the meantime while we are waiting for this move to happen is you can feel free to check out the school. Over in the school, we do every single week, we have what's called Super Sunday, which is a huge workshop that we host where we talk about, it's a huge educational workshop for 30 minutes. And then we do a market roundtable with me and other coaches for 30 minutes. And then we answer questions for 30 minutes. We do hundreds of dollars in giveaways for 30 minutes. I mean, it's absolutely amazing stuff. And that comes up in just 3 days. So if you want to be around for that, make sure that you do sign up today and you can get access to a whole bunch of other stuff, which I explain down in the description below. And also do not forget, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can get my thoughts and insights on everything else happening in the market, quick news updates, and you can see some personal stuff about me as well. So feel free to check that thing out. Again, I'll keep you updated as this all does play out. I hope you guys did enjoy today's quick update, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.